I say, Hine Yadua, behold, it's known. The Rebbe is going to explain now how in the Maimer, in the Likutei Torah, the Alter Rebbe's language covers the whole process of Yira Tato, Ava Tato, Ava Ilo, and then Yira Ilo, which is this Seder of the way it works, that first you have the lower level of Yira, then comes the lower level of Ava, then comes the higher level of Ava, and then comes the higher level of Yira Ilo. Let's look inside. So B'hina Yadua, it's known, Shebechdei Love Miyira Tato Yira Ilo, in order to come from the lower level of Yira to the upper level of Yira, Tzarich Liyis Chila Ava. First, you have to have the level of Ava. You can't go directly from Yira Tato to Yira Ilo. You have to go through the level of Ava. And within Ava itself, there are two levels of Ava. To say that the way of the order of the service, the way the person climbs the ladder, the chilo, fear, the awe of Hashem, Yira Tato, Rechimu is Ava Tato, Rechimu is the Ava Ilo, the Chilo is Yira Ilo. The Chilo Arishon, Yira Tato, the first, the Chilo fear, Yira, is Yira Tato. And then you have the two levels in Ava, which is Ava Zuta, Ava Rabba, the small level of love and the great level of love. And then you come to the Chilo, Yira Ilo, to the upper level of Yira. Move on. So from this we understand the Yira Tato, the Elul Boim, the Yira Ilo B'Rosh Hashanah. This, that from the lower level of Yira that takes place in Elul, you reach and you come to the higher level of Yira and Rosh Hashanah, while Yidei Hagdomas Ava, that comes by the introduction of Ava. The Rebbe asked before, it has to be the level of Yira trembling, but the idea of Mekabel Kolon and Besever Panim Yofis, Mare Panim Sechkes, this is Ava, because this is the procedure to come from Yira to Yira. We need the Yira of Tato as an introduction to the Yira Ilo, and then we have to go through also the level of Ava. Yesh Levair, so we can explain this based on what it's explained in the again, that comes through first Ava, and the Rebbe explains this the kishahamelech hu basode hu mekabelos kulam b'sever panim yofes. When the king is in the field, then he accepts everyone with a good face, good countenance. And he shows a smiling face to everyone. So there's also two levels here that the Alter Rebbe says, this matter, the Sever Panim Yofis and the Panim Seichakos. So these are the two levels of Ava, the Panim Yofis or Panim Seichakos. So generally speaking, good face and a smiling face, Ava. That's the level of Ava. So when the king accepts everybody with a good countenance, and especially that he shows them a smiling face, even more than the Ponim Yofis. It shows them a smiling face. So this arouses by them like the face in the water. You get the reflection, is the face in the water comes from the Ponim. That's what you get. So the Eibishter, if you give, the Eibishter gives you a Ponim Sheichakos, this brings out by the Yidna Ponim Sheichakos, Ahava L'melech, Ahava L'melech, a love to the king. So generally speaking, the Ponim Yofis and Ponim Seichakos represent Ava. But the Rebbe now will explain that these 4 steps that the Alter Rebbe explains are actually the 4 steps of Yira and 2 levels of Ava, and then the Yira Ilo. Based on this, we can say that in the specific of the mashal that is in the Likutei Torah, Merumozim Daled in Yonim Hanal, are hinted the 4 matters of before. The Zeh Sheyetzin Likrosei, that this that we give, this that we go out towards to greet the king, Lekabel Ponim, to greet the king, Shaykh Yira Tator. That is the lower level of Yira, accepting the king, Kabbalah Soil. And after you start the first step of Yira, Hamelech Mekablom Besever Ponim Yofi, Sumaralehem Ponim Seichako. The king accepts them with a good countenance, shows them a smiling face, which is Shtei Hadargis the Rechimu. Those are the 2 levels in Ava. Ponim Yofes is Ava Zuta. The good countenance, that's the lower level of Ava. Uponim Seichako, that's smiling face, Ava Rabba. So we have these 2 levels. And then you have, when you come to the palace, to the room of his kingdom, this is the higher level of Yirei Law, which is, this is all with regards to the Eberster, also the person, the Yira and the 2 levels of Abba, and then the Yirei Law. So now the Rebbe is going to explain that actually there's an advantage in the Yira which we have on the month of level of Elul, even though we call this Yira Tato, and the Yira of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, Seresim Tshuva, that's called Yira Ilo. But there is an advantage in the Yira Tato. The Rebbe is going to say in 2 ways. First of all, the Rebbe explains that there's a Hiddush when you are in the Heichal Malchusei and there is a level of Yira. That's not such a novelty because you are experiencing and you're coming face to face with the greatness of the king, so you have Yira. The Chiddush is that even in Elul is the level of Yira, so that's a Chiddush. And then there's an additional Chiddush in the Yira of the month of Elul in the fact that it comes milmato, it comes from the Avodas Adam, the level of the person that it's on a level of bittul, in a way of bittul that is totally subjugated to self. It's not by like a Rosh Hashanah that he appreciates the king, which is still a Metzias. Over here is through the bittul of Metzias. Let's look inside. Is the Yira. Even though when we talk about the different steps in the level of Yira, Hayira de Elul, Hilamatu Ma Yira de Rosh Hashanah, the Yira that is in the month of Elul is on a lower level than the Yira Rosh Hashanah, Yira Tato. The Yira de Elul, Yira Tato. The Yira of Elul is a level of the lower level of Yira, Yira de Rosh Hashanah, Yira Elo. That's the upper level of Yira. Still, there is an advantage in the level of Yira that we have experienced in the month of Elul above Al Hayira de Rosh Hashanah, which is higher than Yira Hashanah, because the Yira and the self-negation, the bittul, of Rosh Hashanah, Kivan Sha'ozhu Zman is Galus, Malchusi Yizbarich, since it's the time when there is a revealed level of his blessed kingdom, Hayira v'habitl oz, Einam Chidush, the awe, the fear, and the subjugation aren't a novelty. The Kivan Shakula Kamei Kilo Chashiv, because everything before Hashem is considered like nothing. Kilo Chashiv is considered nothing. The more you are higher level, the more nothing you are. So the fact that there is this Galus Malchusi Yisbarach, and they're more Kamei, is not a chiddush that they're going to be bottled. Harizeshi Yisrael him bebitl, the Yirei law, the fact that the Yidden are in a level of bitl or Yirei law bazman de Rosh Hashanah during the time of Rosh Hashanah, kishehem nimtzoim behechal malchusei, when they find themselves in the palace in the king's room. There's no novelty over there that they're bottled and there's Yira, because they are very close. They're more kamei. So since they're more kamei, they're more kiloi. Similar to the subjugation of Atzilus, there is no novelty, the fact that in Atzilus that they are bottled. That's not a novelty. Since in Atzilus there shines the revelation of Ein Sof. So it's a higher level of Ein Sof. So that's why it's bottled. Within Atzilus itself, the bitl which is in the Sfira of Chochmah, it's also more bitl. Shabo Ikara bitl, which in the Chochmah is the main bitl, and a chiddush, it's not a novelty. The reason is lefi Shabe Chochmah hu agilu dehu levado ein zolose. Since the revelation that only he alone is and there's nobody besides him is revealed in Chochmah, so it's evidence. So it's natural for it to be level bitl. We talk higher than Atzilus. We talk about a bitl de keser. Like Keser, we're saying the afal gavshu oir tzach, even though it's a very pure, polished light, very powerful light, but yet it's ucham, it's dark, it's bottle. Ucham hu kodem ilus ha'ilus. It's bittul before the one who is the cause of all causes in front of Hashem. It's dark, it's black, it's bottle. What means ucham? Ucham means dark. The pirush ucham hu shakeser hu bebitl. The meaning of ucham is that keser is in a way of bitl. Just as the color black isn't higher, doesn't stand out against the black color loven, that represents the level of bitl. So keser is the bitl. Keser is black. Keser is bottle. If we talk next to, relative to Hashem, the level of Hashem, then it's a level that it's dark. And therefore, but it's natural. And the reason it's natural, because since it's, is this doing this? Hold on. Because there's such a high level over there, and next to the high level, next to that gilui, it is bottle. The gabe in the sof shalamayla ma'keser. If we relative to the Einisof, which is higher than keser, which is ilus ha'ilus, she'ein zechidus. That's not a novelty. Mikivon sha'keser masi shehu be'ein hareich l'gabe Einisof. Since keser grasps that he has no comparison, that he's not comparable to the Einisof, so it's bittul. So these are all levels that when they are on a very high level, they appreciate the fact that they are kilo and they're bittul. But by Yira, by bittul be'elul, on the other hand, when it comes to the Yira and the subjugation of Elul, when the king is in the field, you don't feel the greatness and the remus of the king. And still there is the bittul of Yisrael, shemekablim aleihem malchusa yizbarich, and still they accept the malchus v'loy oid. Not only that, elo shagam toikim b'shofar, but they also blow the shofar la'oired yira v'charoda. So first of all, they are accepting the malchus, they're going out into the field. Not only that, they on top of that, they blow the shofar, So in order for the Kabbalah Samalchus to be complete, they blow the shofar. So hine bitl zeh, so this level of bitl, avshu bitl yesh, even though it's bitl yesh, this is very precious in the eyes of Hashem. This is a chiddush. This is a mitzias that becomes bottle. So while it may not be bitl b'mitzias, but it has an advantage because it's a chiddush that even in the mitzias is bottle. V'yesh loymar, and the Rebbe adds, he says, Al yidei ha'tainuk shel hamelech, through the delight of the king, that they go out, this chiddush, that they're still going out, and they're going out to greet him. So the king gets a tainuk from that, a delight. Kabbalah's malchusi is better. While the king is in the field, they're coming out to him. This adds even more the fact that he accepts everybody with a good countenance and he shows a smiling face to all. And the Rebbe gives now an additional advantage in the Yira that we have in Elul more than the Yira that we have in Elul. First, the Rebbe just said that there's also a level of Tainug over there. But there's also another Mailah, the Shleisha, the Mailah should be Yira B'Bitl, the Elul Gaba Yira B'Bitl. The Rosh Hashanah, the fact is, it's not just because it's a novelty, and in a novelty, it's more delight. Elagam B'Inyan HaBitl. But also in the matter of bitl, in bitl itself, the habitl shal yidei gilui, when it's bitl through revelation, kivon shabitlu mipnei shemakir umargisho ilui da gilui, since the bitl is because he recognizes, he feels, he appreciates the advantage of the gilui, shu bein legabe, that it's much higher than him. Harei habitl kosher mitzias ha'adam ha'kodesh lo. So that subjugation is still tied with the entity of the person. He's the one that recognizes it. He appreciates it. But v'amitis inyan habitl, the real level of bitl, u'ba'avodah da kabbalah soil, is the avodah kabbalah soil. It's still bitl hayesh, but it's a higher level in bitl, in subjugation, because it's kabbalah soil shekumoi eved. He's like an eved. Shemitzad oil ha'odin shemutul olav, because of the yoke of the master which is upon him, he is forced to fulfill the wishes of the master. That is a greater level, a more truer level of bitl. Zion. Based on this, we can explain what the Maimer says. That how do we draw down the Makiv of Rosh Hashanah to be Mesakin the Pagomim that we need is mainly through the awe and the tremble that comes from the Tkiyah Shofar of the month of Elul. And why not the Shofar of Rosh Hashanah itself, as the Rebbe asked? Kizeh shal yidei hacharoda, the fact that through the charoda, because Eze bayis asher tivnu li al abit al oni lechei ruach v'chorid al dvori. So through that charoda, then we bring down the bayis. So which charoda, which shofar is that? Is when that tremble is in a way of subjugation and humility, which is poor and subdued in spirit. Kavur B'Maimer is explained in the Maimer. The Kol Shah Odom mashpilas atzme yosef. The more the person lowers himself, the makif that comes down is a higher makif. Velochein iker hamshochas hamakif hu al yidei hayira v'charoda de'elo. The main bringing down of the makif is through the yirachrod of Elul, which is a greater level of bittul. Kayira v'charoda de Rosh Hashanah, because the fear and the tremble of Rosh Hashanah hu al yidei shemargish agilu d'lamayla. That is because he feels the revelation of above. So it's not yet the true Yira and Charoda. Bittul shal yidei hergish hagilu eine boy from the shifli. That the bittul that comes through feeling of the revelation is not in a way of shiflus. But the iker ha'inyan, the onir nechei ruach, bittul boy from the shiflus, the main idea, as the pasuk says, to be onir nechei ruach, a way of bittul and a way of shiflus, who by Yira v'charoda the El is in the Yira and the trembling of El. I have to really understand it, because on one hand we're saying that on El it's bittul hayesh, but here in the level of bittul it's a bittul of shiflus. So there is the two aspects of it, but necessary to bring the makif. It's very important that the bittul should be in a way of shiflus, which is more by Elul. That's why we need the shofar of Elul, and it's not sufficient, the shofar of Rosh Hashanah. Yes, can add, there's another more explanation. Why is the year of Elul advantageous even over the year of Rosh Hashanah? The kivon shayirav abitul de Elul bo'al de'evidosim shel Yisrael. Since the Yira and the subjugation of Elul comes through the service of Yid, ani לדודי, I am to my beloved, Shashoir as the Yisrael, Uba Atzmus. The root of Yid is not Atzmus, Lachein, Hamshoch, Shal Yidei, Bitul Zeh, Hamshoch as Atzmus. So therefore, that which comes down through Yira Bitul Zeh is bringing down Atzmus, because it's the Jerusa de Latata, it's Avodah Sa'odom. And a Yid is rooted in Atzmus, so it's higher than anything else. That's the advantage also that Yira B'yesh Leimar, Shezeu Atam HaPnimi, this is the inner reason, Al Zeh Shema Yira Tato Di Ilo, Boyim Achar Kach B'Rosh Hashanah L'Yira Ilo. That why is it that Taka from the Yira Tato of Elul, we come to Rosh Hashanah Yira Ilo, Kal Yidei HaYira De Elul Hamshochas Atzmus. Because through the Yira of Elul, we bring down the Atzmus. So then you can also get the Gilum. Ches. So now we explained the level of Yira, why we need the shofar, and why we need... So the Rebbe is going to continue to explain and the advantage of Yira of Elul, and the Rebbe is going to explain now the idea of tshuva of Elul versus the tshuva of Seres Yimei Tshuva, which is also an advantage of the tshuva in Elul. And Alderach Zeh, Ugam B'yin HaTshuva de Elul, similar is also in the tshuva of Elul. Zeh Shebe Elul Teikim B'Shofar Hu. The reason why we blow the shofar in Elul, can move Alil Ma'atur, as brought down before from the Tur, Kedei Lahazir Yisrael Sheyasu Tshuva, that is to warn the Yid to do Tshuva. Sheyesh Bazeh Yisrael Na'ala Tshuva, the Rosh Hashanah, there is an advantage in the Tshuva that we do on Elul, the shofar, and the Tshuva we do on Elul, over the Tshuva Rosh Hashanah. Tagam Sha'at Tshuva de Elul Hi Al Inyonim Bilti Ritzuyim, although Tshuva of Elul is on matters which are not desirable. That's what the tshuva is. That's why it's the Orei Miklat, that Elul is an Orei Miklat, it's a refuge. A refuge goes for killing somebody accidentally and still have to run away. So that means that in Elul, we're doing teshuva for matters that aren't desirable. understood from what it's written in the writing of the Rizal, the Elul hu Rosh Tevis, that Elul is the abbreviation, Ino liyode v'samti loch. So we have the Aleph Lamed Vav Lamed, Ino liyode, happen to your hand, and I'll make you a place to run away, which is the Ore Miklot. The Ore Miklot hu tikun al inyonim bilti ritzuim. They're cities of refuge. They are a correction for matters which are not desirable. V'yesh loymar, and the Rebbe says we can further explain the Zesha Tshuva de Elul, that why the Tshuva of Elul is nirmezes, is hinted be in the Liyodi v'samti loch, in the pasuk, I happen to your hand and I'll place for you a place to run away. Shakapore dore miklot hi al maken nefesh b'shgoga. What does the cities of refuge atone? That is for somebody killing somebody accidentally. So why is this the pasuk about tshuva that is associated with Elul in the Kisva Rizal? Uki alidei hatshuva dereish chodesh Elul nases doines kishgogis. Tshuva of Rosh Chodesh Elul, that makes them of Rosh Chodesh Elul. Remember in the beginning of the Maimer, the Rebbe made a distinction between Rosh Chodesh and the month of Elul. So there is Lachatchila, the Tshuva of the first Rosh Chodesh Elul, that turns this doinus to shgogos, makes the intentional mistakes. But Tshuva, the Elul is sakin shgogos, but the Tshuva of Elul is to fix the mistakes, and that's why it's Ore Miklot, which atones for Makin Nefesh B'Shgog. So, Tshuva, this is all in Tshuva of Elul. Tshuva, the Rosh Hashanah, and the Tshuva of Rosh Hashanah, Shabo, La'acharei Sheniskenu Kvar Ha'inyonim, Habilti Ritzuim, it comes after the undesirable matters have been corrected, which is Gamash Gogus, Alidei Tshuva the Elul, through the Tshuva Elul. So what does the Tshuva of Rosh Hashanah do? Be'ikar Tshuva Ilah. It's mainly the higher level of Tshuva. So it seems that the Tshuva of Rosh Hashanah is greater, it's Tshuva Ilah, than the Tshuva Tator of the month of Elul. There is still an advantage of Tshuva and Elul of the Tshuva Rosh Hashanah. Tshuva de Rosh Hashanah hu remez b'hamitzvah d'tkiyas shofar. Because the Tshuva of Rosh Hashanah is a hint in the mitzvah of tkiyas shofar, which means there's a mitzvah blowing the shofar, and then you have the hint what it means to do teshuvah. A hint is always greater than the mitzvah. But the Rambam writes, even though the Torah did create, you got to blow the shofar in Rosh Hashanah. But there's still a hint. The hint of the shofar blowing is to say, wake up, sleepers, from your sleep. And return b'tshuva. So v'agam she'yin hatshuva merumas b'shofar hu l'mayla ma'mitzvah d'tiyas shofar. So even though the idea of tshuva, which is hinted in shofar, is higher than the mitzvah of t'kiyas shofar, uki yidua b'inyan haremes, as we know, the remes she'in ha'rames hu l'mayla ma'dover she'merames alov. That the idea that it's hinting to is higher than that which he's hinting to. So he can't even dress up. It's only a hint, meaning because it's even higher. But the fact that it's still hinted in this mitzvah, there is some comparison, there's some similarities there. The kivon shetkiya shofar b'Rosh Hashanah mitzvah. And since the blowing of the shofar Hashanah is a mitzvah, that's why the tshuva, which is hinted in the shofar of the mitzvah, yesh lo shaychus la'aved the Torah mitzvahs, that has a connection to the aved of Torah mitzvahs. That's the level of tshuva, a tshuva which is connected to Torah mitzvahs. But the tshuva, but the main advantage of tshuva, she magia bebal harotzim, the master of the Ratzon. You're doing Teshuvah, even though you violated the Ratzon, but you tap in through Teshuvah to the master of the Ratzon, L'mayla Ratzon, the mitzvahs, which is higher than Hashem's will for the mitzvahs, and that's why you can do Teshuvah. And that is a Teshuvah to Elul. That's the Teshuvah Elul, which is not connected to mitzvahs, but it's higher. It reaches the Baal Ratzon. Why does Tshuva reach above than the Ratzon of mitzvahs? Because the Yid come before Torah. So therefore the Yid taps into a higher plus, which is higher than the Ratzon of Torah. Therefore, the mile of tshuva beikar kshatshuva bo me'ha'odom Yisrael atzvei. Mainly when it comes from the person, the Yid himself. Tshuva, the Elul, the tshuva of Elul, which is ani לדודי, which comes from the Yid, not as the mitzvah. Zehu tes, zehu ani לדודי ודודי li, Rosh Tevis Elul. Also explained to us. He asked, how come ודודי li, which is Tishrei, why is it in Elul? The fact that the Vododi Li is included in the Rosh Tevis Elul, that the fact that through the Avodah of Elul, that accomplishes that it should throw down the Amshach of Vododi Li Rosh Hashanah Kippurim. That is because ani לדודי reaches always the atzmus. From there come all the revelations, which the person will benefit when it comes to Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. Turns out שבani לדודי דאלו כלולו גם המשכה דודדי לי. So it comes out that over here it's also included the Hamshocha Vododi Li. Because in there, in Atzmus includes all the Giluim. So the Vododi Li is there as well. We can say the Zeh Mashatki is the Chodesh Elul. That the Tki is the month of Elul, B'minach Chabad, the way our custom is Hein Tashrat Tashat Tarat. So we have all the sounds, Tkiya Shvarim Tru Tkiya, Tkiya Shvarim Tru, and Tkiya Tru Tkiya. Kol HaKoylos Shetoikim B'Rosh Hashanah, all the sounds that we blow in Hashanah. Kibat Tkiyas, the Elul Yeshnem Kol Inyonim, Shabbat Tkiyas, the Rosh Hashanah, because really in the Tkiyas of Rosh Hashanah we have all matters, which is the Tkiyas of Rosh Hashanah. So why is it that on Elul we brought 10 and not 100? If we have everything already, in Atzmus you have the Giluim too. Perhaps we can say the Elul, because the Tkis of Elul Kiva, since they are the root of the matters that come to Rosh Hashanah, and L'mayla means Chalkos, so it's above separation. So while we have 10, but we're not going to have 100. Yud. Through our work, our service, the Elul, specifically through the service of Elul, we will bring close and hasten even more the redemption. And as it's hinted in this, Elul hu Rosh Tevis laHashem vayemru leimer Oshira. To Hashem, vayemru leimer say Oshira, which is in the future. Ke'oz yotzu kol anitzutzim mehagolus. Then all in the future redemption by the Geula, all sparks will go out from Golus. Ekivon shebe'elu makabel hamelech has kulam b'sever panim yofis. Since on Elul Day, the king accepts everybody with a countenance, a good countenance, and shows shows everybody a smiling face. So for sure, the king fulfills the requests of each and every one of the Yidden, like Sivach Simatova, should be written and sealed for the good Lashon Tova Mesukah, a good Nasriyat year, B'Tova Nira V'Nigla, and the visible revealed good, Haim Binyanim Haruchniim, both in spiritual matters, in the study of Torah and mitzvahs, to have a good year in Torah mitzvahs, and also in the physical matters, children, life, abundance of food, and of course, and how much more so, as it relates to our main request, the true and complete redemption of the Mashiach Tzidkenu, through our righteous Mashiach, Yovevi Galenu, may he come and redeem us, Yirchenu Kemimius La'artzenu, and lead us upright to our land, B'Kodesh Mamish, very soon.